Present.
Councillor Foxton? Present. Member Martin?
Present.
Councillor Nowak? Present. Chair Salonen? Present. Councillor Shantz?
Present.
And we have regrets from Member Palmer. Thank you.
I would like to acknowledge the land on which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Shawanoe peoples. We recognize the enduring presence of the Indigenous people on this land, and we honor their historic and ongoing contributions to our community. Are there any declarations of conflicts of interest today? Seeing none, we will jump right into our reports. The first one being the service plan for 2026 to 2029, and I will call on Julian Kingston, our Director of Cultural Services, to introduce this report.
Thank you, Chair. We actually have a presentation on the report, so we'll move into that. But the report has the service delivery plan and summarizes that. Has that as Appendix A. There's also the business plan for 2026 that falls out of the service plan that's attached as Appendix B, and those are both covered in the presentation. So I'll hand it over to Christina to take it away.
All right. Good afternoon, members of Library Committee. After many months of work by our team, we're pleased to present to you today the Library Service Delivery Plan for 2026 to 2029. Today's presentation will give an overview of the library's mission and vision, service levels, engagement process, and highlights of the service plan's 5 areas of focus. I will also share with you, as Julian mentioned, the draft 2026 business plan action items for your consideration. These action items relate directly to the service delivery plan and are also prioritized by our 5 areas of focus, plus 2 additional areas. Let me start off by thanking the community, our staff, township staff, and all of you for contributing to the consultation. We received hundreds of surveys, comments, and personal stories that have helped to shape this plan. As you've read in the report notes, the library's focus is on delivering diverse collections, quality programs, and equitable access to rural residents, with an emphasis on customer service and social interaction. Could you please move to the next slide? So the region of Waterloo Library is comprised of 11 branches, plus 1 satellite location, all supported through 1 headquarters, which is located in Wilmot Township. And the library serves just over 75,000 residents across the 4 townships of Waterloo region. Next slide, please. The plan categorizes branches by capacity and community-specific services. This is intended to maximize resource efficiency and ensure equitable service across all locations. So there's a tailored service level by community. We have resource branches, which are our largest branches and or serve the largest communities within each of the townships. So for that category, we're looking at Ayr, Elmira, New Hamburg, and the Wellesley branches. They have a broader range of services, collections, and programs, and greater access in terms of open hours. The community branches are what we would call our medium locations or our medium branches. That applies to the Baden and Breslau locations. They offer expanded collections of popular materials, a wide range of programs, and open hours across 4 or 5 days per week. Then we also have neighborhood branches. Those are our small locations. That includes Bloomingdale, Linwood, New Dundee, St. Clements, and St. Jacobs. Those branches offer popular collections and programs tailored to the community and open hours up to 4 days per week. And then our 4th category is our satellite branch, which is our pop-up location in Clyde. Limited services are available due to the pop-up service, but people can browse popular collections, pick up holds and return items, and they can access staff members for reader's advisory and reference. And that location is open twice per month. Next slide, please. This slide highlights our 2024 library usage numbers to show library performance at the time of the service plan's development. Each of these statistics, I'll just note, are an increase over our 2023 numbers. Next slide, please. The Library Service Delivery Plan is a high-level document for guiding the direction of library services over the next 4 years. It informs the 2026 Library Business Plan, which, as you know, is also included with this report. There are 5 pillars of service that we'll go through: welcoming spaces, service excellence, diverse collections, dynamic programs, and evolving technology. And I'll just note that diverse collections and dynamic programs cater to various demographics, supported by partnerships and the integration of innovative technology, which is intended to empower community members. Next slide, please. Community feedback was gathered over a 1-month period in November and December of 2024. We engaged nearly 1,000 people through online and paper surveys and in-branch consultations, focus groups, and also including youth. That process identified some areas that need to be addressed. So some of the challenges that we identified include adapting facility designs for accessibility and community needs, and creating dynamic outreach tools for enhanced public engagement. Some of our opportunities that were identified through that process are to engage the community for ongoing feedback, exploring partnerships to guide service enhancements, and aligning library hours with community needs, all while fostering program diversity. Next slide, please. So here we'll get into the 5 pillars of the service plan. So we'll move to the next slide. So the first one being welcoming spaces. This pillar looks at the physical branch spaces with the aim to meet accessibility standards and provide equitable access. We are looking at addressing size and space limitations where possible, which could translate to accessibility updates, enhancements to floor plan designs, and looking for opportunities of expansion or relocation of branches. Functional spaces for staff, so looking for ways to create a positive work environment and to support confidentiality when staff need to speak with patrons about accounts. Clear library branded signage for identifying our branch locations. That helps to build awareness of the region of Waterloo Library and identifies all branches as one system. It also delineates the library as being a place where you can find consistent quality of service, no matter which location you walk into. Where meeting room spaces are available, library programs and branch activities, of course, take a priority for room use, but we also have room rentals offered as availability allows, and fees may be waived for partner groups. Material return bins are available at all branches to allow returns outside open hours, and then we are also exploring library services beyond branch open hours and what that may look like. Next slide, please. So this pillar is about service excellence. This highlights the vital role of our library staff in the provision of high quality service to the community. Our library staff provide specialized service to the public, basic technology support to the public, readers advisory and reference services, as well as interactions between staff and patrons. Our staff provide that personalized service, that meaningful experience for patrons, and it really helps to build community relationships, which of course all leads to creating a culture of belonging for the community and helping to combat isolation and loneliness. In this pillar, we're also looking at staffing levels and doing what we can to minimize any service disruptions. We're looking at consistent and accessible branch hours, so looking at ways to meet the greatest need of the community, providing consistent hours for time of day when people can attend. And noting that a review of branch open hours on a regular basis, at least every 4 years, though it could be more often depending on the need, and recognizing disadvantages to frequent changes to the open hours. And lastly, creating opportunities for ongoing public engagement to gather feedback about service and access to resources and to ensure equitable access. Next slide. All right, so diverse collections. We're looking at offering a diverse range of collections that continue to evolve with the growing and changing community. We aim to be responsive to patron needs and interests, and to balance collections to serve all reading levels, so including English and non-English readers, newcomer resources, and a variety of formats, print, digital, audio. We're also looking at the development and management of collections that follow the library's materials selection policy and interlibrary loan service for requests for titles that are not already owned by the library. We'll continue to explore opportunities to expand the digital collection and the unique resources that we make available. Next slide. Dynamic programs. We offer a dynamic range of free programming activities for different ages that focus on enhancing learning, building skills, promoting well-being, and fostering a sense of community and belonging. These programs can be tailored for every stage of life to engage, learn, and connect. So adults and seniors, teens, and preschool and school-age children. So this pillar is about exploring opportunities to also adjust timing, quantity, and locations for programs where possible to ensure accessibility and participation. We'll also be encouraging continuous feedback from program participants so that we can be responsive to the evolving community needs. And actively seeking partnerships to enhance or expand program offerings. We'll be offering system-wide programs at all branches and or outreach locations to maintain consistency across our service area and to offer accessible and equitable services. Next slide. So our fifth pillar is evolving technology. Libraries are a trusted source for access to technology, and we're a community equalizer. And of course, technology is constantly evolving, and the library is striving to keep pace with that growth by providing reliable internet, high quality, credible information, and try before you buy opportunities. So this pillar is about providing support for community digital literacy to empower people to enhance their tech skills. That could include tech help services, online educational courses, maker culture tools, artificial intelligence, and learning about AI, and providing adaptive technologies. We'll also be looking at enhancing promotion of and access to library services using advanced technology by strengthening the library's website and our online presence, which includes our online catalog and social media channels and how we communicate, as well as seeking opportunities to enhance access and communications for our residents. Next slide. So in this next section, I'll be talking about the business plan action items. The proposed 2026 library business plan, as you know, is included with this report, and it outlines the projects library staff will be prioritizing throughout 2026 and into 2027. These projects fit in with the 5 pillars I've identified within the library service delivery plan, plus 2 additional sections that should be constant across all years and beyond the proposed service plan. Those 2 additional sections are library governance and advocacy and awareness. Next slide, please. So this identifies just a kind of a top-level description of each of the projects and actions that we'll be looking at. So under the welcoming spaces section, we'll be looking at installing new exterior branch signage. It's a continuing project. We have been working on updating exterior signs as repairs are needed, but we're also looking at including township logos. This has been done at a few branches already and will be done at some branches this year, and we'll be considering branches for 2026 as well. We're also looking at accessibility upgrades as part of the 10-year capital plan. It's a continuing project, of course, to improve physical access to library spaces. And then we're also looking at branch improvements, such as new furnishings for children's and teen areas, murals, or art installations. For the service excellence pillar, we're looking at adjusting branch open hours, getting back to a minimum of 285 hours per week open across all branches is our goal. So we'll be looking at trying to accomplish that in 2026. We'll be looking at building staff expertise to deliver tech desk help to the public. That's a response to community feedback for technical assistance and training for the public. So we'll be looking at trying to improve and expand on that service. And the last point under service excellence is research and develop a home and community outreach service. So looking at a 2027 or 2028 implementation, but there's some research that needs to be done before that can happen. So that's what that point is about. Next slide. So on this slide, we're looking at diverse collections and the actions there. The first under diverse collections is to build staff capacity in the promotion of collections. We'll be looking at providing improved readers advisory service and collections knowledge for through our staff to the public. It's a commitment to staff development and better use of available tools and resources that we have available. And the other point under diverse collections is to explore the expansion of unique collections. That's a response to a request from Library Committee for potential expansion of unique collections. So we'll be looking a little bit more on that and building on the success of existing unique collections. Also on that slide is dynamic programs, and our action items there are, we've got 3 of them. The first one being community outreach pilot project. So research and implementation would take place from throughout 2026 and 2027. That's a response to community feedback for programs within the community and improved or barrier-free access to services for those without transportation. It would also help to increase the profile of the library in areas without physical branches or vulnerable neighborhoods. There's also an opportunity for partnership building with our local municipalities and community organizations. Also, under dynamic programs, we would like to look at strengthening collaboration with community services, municipalities, and local organizations to enhance program delivery and meet community needs and interests. That is also a response to community and township feedback for an alignment between library and township delivery of programs. We'd be looking at improved partnership and service to the community, improved working relationships with municipalities and local organizations, and leveraging the expertise of community partners for increased programming. And it would be an enhancement to our current program offerings. And the last point under programs is to develop a strategy for gathering ongoing public feedback about library programs. That is also a response to community feedback for more input into programming. We'd be looking at enhanced services unique to each community because no 2 communities across the region are the same. And we would be looking at strengthening our overall community engagement with the library. We want to hear from people. We want to know what their requests are for programming, what their current experiences are, and what their recommendations for future improvements might be. Next slide, please. So this has our last 3 areas of focus. The last pillar from the service plan is evolving technology, and the projects that we want to work on there are a microfilm digitization project that will help to increase access to out-of-print local history publications. It will help to build our local history collection, and it'll fast-track our existing project with the help of a temporary student. We'd also like to look at mobile printing research and implementation. So looking at better ways to serve the community and meet needs for access to technology. It's a response, again, another response to feedback from the community for access to technology services. Looking at that, mobile printing might offer greater flexibility for providing services in a pandemic-like situation. We hope not to be in a situation like that again, but having the flexibility to be able to offer services in a myriad of ways is always useful. And it would be an upgraded service to the public. And lastly, under that pillar, we're looking at enhanced digital communications. So specifically, we are getting a new library website coming mid-year next year. We'd also be looking at the exploration and implementation of a library marketing platform. Again, this is a response to community feedback for improvements to the website and communication methods. It would help us to streamline our online presence and functionality of processes. So the next 2 areas on this slide are not part of the service plan, but they should be constantly a part of our plans for service delivery. So library governance is the first, and we have 2 items under that category. So board legacy, document, and succession planning. We know that the library committee term coincides with the existing term of council, and the next municipal election will be in 2026. So to help make preparations for ensuring a smooth transition between potential outgoing and incoming committee members, to create a shorter learning curve for any new members, and to ensure that the work of the committee continues with new composition, we'd be looking at a legacy document and planning that goes around that. And the other point under library governance is to prepare for new library committee member training. I've delivered training to each of you, council members and citizen members in recent months, so you know what that is all about. Again, some of the same points for the previous action. It would help to provide a quick transition for incoming members and just a clarity of roles and responsibility as committee members. And then the last area of focus on this slide is advocacy and awareness. So we would be looking at doing a 2025 annual library report card. As you will remember, we provided a 2024 annual library report card, which is now lives on our website for everyone to access. It's a way to provide accountability to our stakeholders and to the communities that we serve. It's also an opportunity to highlight library success or note industry trends. We'd also be looking at building library brand recognition, so positioning the library as a source for consistent, high-quality service. We'd be looking at the expansion of some marketing tools and some ideas around that. And lastly, but not least, we'd be looking at READY initiatives that support reconciliation, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So ensuring that our commitment to READY focus initiatives are built into our library programs, collections, and services, and that they're included in existing library budgets as part of regular operations. And we'd also be looking at providing staff development opportunities for working with vulnerable or marginalized groups and how to better serve those populations. Next slide, please. So next steps in September are we'd be looking ahead to the approval of the 2026 to 2029 Library Service Delivery Plan at the September Regional Council. There should be an opportunity to share the new service delivery plan with the community as well following that, and then approval of the library's 2026 business plan, which then moves us into the review of the library budget. Thank you very much, and if there are any questions about these documents, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much. I believe that we have Councillor Foxton.
Thank you, and through you, the chair. As I stated before, I think that you did a great job on this. And the only thing is, I talked to Jeline, and she talked about how the numbers were screwed on the attendance, that people recorded 3 and 4 times for one visit, but she's got to be here to explain that. She explained it to me, but that was right after the report came out, and I don't remember what she said. But I thought it was a really good report, and I think I look forward to seeing this happen. The microfiche, I thought that was already in action. Had we not been doing that over the years?
Through the chair, we have been working on a microfilm project throughout the years, yes, but the plan with this is that we would be able to bring in a student to help us fast track that.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments at this time, committee members? Okay, not seeing any. I did actually have a few questions on the timelines in Appendix B. I think the direction that you guys are going is really great. My big question, I guess, is why is almost 60% of the business plan for 2026 not even starting until Q4 of 2026? It almost looks more like a business plan for 2027 based off the timelines.
Well, I guess we want to ensure that these action items are attainable and that we have the time to put planning in place to begin everything. Some of these items we're already working on now. We're starting the process, but a lot of this really depends on the budget for 2026 and whether or not we can move forward with things. So it's hard to commit to things in the first quarter of 2026 without knowing for certain if we have the budget to go forward.
Thank you. And I can totally appreciate with the budget in the first quarter, but most of these aren't actually starting until Q4, according to the actual timeline, including like the accessibility one was a particular one of interest. As I know, starting 2 years ago, I really brought that up as a key thing to try and meet AODA, and that's not starting until Q4 of 2026, as well as I was a bit confused as to why the READY initiatives are only identified in Q4 and not an ongoing part of our programming, because it just has a dot. I'm looking at Appendix B. That particular one is the final page of that report. It's just one dot in Q1 of 2026. Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering, why are all of them so delayed if it's a business plan for 2026, but most of the actual work is being projected for 2027? I can appreciate a lag time on budget, but this seems a bit to the extreme.
We can certainly look at some of those timelines a little bit closer and make some adjustments. Particularly in the welcoming spaces initiatives. Some of those can certainly start before Q4 in 2026, especially because they are ongoing projects. The READY initiatives, they are in Q1 of 2026.
Yes, but they're only as one dot, which the way I interpreted without any key mapping of what the dot means, I'm just wondering why that's not a continuous part of our ongoing programming. You are correct. It is identified for Q1, but it's just a dot in Q1, not ongoing like the others.
And so the plan with that would be that we start off in Q1 and continue on. You're right, it wouldn't be completed in Q1, so perhaps it does need a continuation all the way across.
Thank you. And I see Committee Member Griffith has a question.
Yes, it's further to the work plan that you just mentioned, Madam Chair. And I was a bit surprised that some of the categories had no impact under the financial, whereas in reading or going through the document as we have, there's a lot that you're trying to accomplish within the near term to be able to achieve the goals over the period of this. So I was a bit mystified about the no impact under a number of them. We didn't go through that with you at this point, but that was where I had most of my questions, was on the work plan itself. I think it's a commendable agenda, but I'm interested to see how you can achieve it without some type of impact on your operational budget in particular. So that was my question or observation.
To the chair, I could say that by no impact, we mean like no additional budget impact, that we'd be working within our projected budget, and we're not looking for like budget enhancement requests through these particular initiatives.
I find that commendable, but I think based upon all of the things that you've covered in your preceding presentation, well, I guess without having the budget information and how much you're working with, it still begs the question in my mind as to whether there isn't some operational cost that's going to be associated with a number of these items. I'd put question marks next to a number of them, including the training of staff, the possible communications and getting out and creating these plans and doing this research. Again, it threw me off when I saw that mention.
I think Commissioner Regier is going to comment.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I think the way this process is likely to unfold is that we'll be reviewing the budget at either the next, I think it is the next meeting that we're going to be rolling up our sleeves with the first draft of the budget. And then in that particular conversation, it's going to be possible for our library team to link back these plans, the service plan and the business plan, directly to the budget initiative. So you'll be able to put the numbers together with the plan in that conversation.
Any additional questions or comments? We'll go back to Councillor Foxton.
Thank you, through the chair. So is this being accepted for information today, and it doesn't actually pass until we've passed the budget? And if we do pass the budget, or it needs to be tweaked once we've decided on the budget?
Through the chair, we're looking for, the recommendation is to accept the service plan and to recommend it to council. So that would be our first step to get the service plan approved, followed by the business plan and then the budget.
I think that if we pass this, I think it's backwards. I think we need to do the budget based upon this as information. But I mean, if we endorse it now and say this is what we want, then we're rubber stamping a budget that we haven't seen. So I think I would accept this for information, and then I would look at the budget, and then we would proceed, because some of this we may want to cut back on based on the costs.
So we technically don't have anything tabled right now. So certainly if Councillor Foxton, you would choose to receive for information, we can make that be the recommendation. It is varying from what I keep on wanting to say Commissioner, but Director Kingston just said, from what staff were originally bringing forward, but it is up to the discretion of this committee if that is how you want to table what we're doing.
There's a lot of things I like, but a lot of them I can't afford. So first off, I'd like to receive this for information and bring it back when we're looking at the budget. Thank you.
So I will come back to have you move it to be received for information, but Chair Redmond does have a question or a comment.
I see Mr. Getsky wants to jump in. I guess I appreciate where you're coming from, Councillor Foxton, but doesn't the library committee want to direct what's in the budget? And so I guess if we want to change this, that's one thing, but I would think, how are they going to create a budget if we don't express what our priorities are? I don't know. Mr. Getsky, do you want to comment?
Through the chair, I just wanted to take maybe a parallel with GRT business plan that was brought to you a few months ago. So they brought forward a business plan for the next 5 years, understanding that the speed of implementation is entirely contingent on the budget decision. So it's trying to get a bit of a framework of where collectively kind of the team wants to go, but then the actual execution is year by year and depending on where we are with the budget. So that was the spirit in which the GRT business plan was brought to you. And I think what I understand here is a bit of a similar approach. This provides a framework and the general direction on where the team sees some added value in terms of of service development. And then depending on your decisions on the budget year over year, that determines at which speed these things are actively implemented.
So I see what you're saying, Acting CEO Bugetsky and Chair Redmond. But I still think that what you've basically said is that the GRT budget is not passed yet, and it's not a part of the budget until we actually pass it. So we've received it in its concept, and that's what I mean by receiving it for information. We receive it in its concept, but we are not passing it because that gets passed with the budget, in my opinion.
So the other thing that has been suggested by our committee clerk is that we could receive in principle pending budget approval.
Perfect.
Okay. So now up on your screens, you should see the updated motion to represent that would be that the Regional Municipality of Waterloo approve the library service delivery plan as set out in Appendix A in principle, subject to budgetary approval to guide the administration of the library for 2026 to 2029 as outlined in the report dated August 27th, 2025. Okay, so that's moved by Councillor Foxton. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Nowak. I do just want to throw in one other quick, more so just a note for staff, because it does pertain to budget and the plan you've outlined. On the new exterior branch signage, can we just make sure that in there we're considering any of the buildings and municipalities that fall under heritage designations that need to have signs that align with that? In particular, I know the New Hamburg one currently doesn't align with the heritage of the building, and that's something that has been noted by residents. So if we can just include, as we are working on upgrading the exterior signage, that it can follow any heritage guidelines in the respective municipalities, and that might have a slight budget impact. But that is just for you guys to take away. I don't need comment on that. Councillor Shantz.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Foxton, for your comments. I think there's a couple items in here specifically for capital that we'll want to take a look at what those cost. So I think that's important. The one thing, though, that I wonder is strengthen collaboration with community services, municipalities, and local organizations. That's got a dot in Q2, I think. Is that not something that you're, like this is Q3 of, we're talking 6 months down the road. Is that not something that should be ongoing? And isn't that something that you could start immediately if it needs to even be started, that it's not already done? That was really awkward. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Through the chair. So I'm looking a little closer at the business plan. I believe those dots are for when projects should be completed by, not when they start. So that's why a number of them say Q4, because they would be completed by the fourth quarter. As for Q2 for that item that you've brought up, Councillor Shantz, that the idea is that would be completed by second quarter of next year. And yes, we are working on those steps already, but ensuring that those pieces are in fact in place by second quarter of next year is the goal.
That clarification might have helped you, but it left me a bit more confused. Can we just get general clarity, and maybe this is offline, of what is happening in what quarter? Because I'm looking at like the lines that don't start until Q4 and they continue on into 2027. Those were the ones I was commenting about. I didn't really see anything that, again, from my interpretation of the symbols without a key for how this map was designed, my interpretation is not aligning with that making sense. So if we could just have clarity of that.
Yes, that part of the document could be clarified a little bit more. I do acknowledge that. The lines are for those projects that are on more of an ongoing basis. So projects that would be continuing throughout a longer period of time. So noting those changes or upgrades to the physical spaces, those would be happening throughout the year. In Q4, we should have a number of physical changes with the branch signage, accessibility, and branch improvements completed, but we know that those are continuous projects that will also bleed over into 2027. So that's why there's that longer arrow there. Looking at service excellence, so the action item for building staff expertise to deliver tech desk help to the public, we know that is not something that can happen overnight either. That is a continuous project. We're often hiring new staff as people retire or resignations appear. So we know that is a bit of an ongoing project as well. I'm not sure if you want me to go through all of them, but basically, those longer lines are to note that those are continuing projects. Does that clarify?
Yes and no. I think for the sake of the logistics of what we need to get done in this meeting, we can just have a conversation offline. Yeah, I think in principle, like I said, I think what direction you guys are going in from my perspective is good, but just wanted clarity so we can chat offline about that. Were there any other, I see Councillor Foxton, you're back in the queue.
Yeah, the quiet one, right? Can you bring up the motion, please, Julie?
And it should be back up on your screens
Yeah,
there.
the Regional Waterloo approved the library services delivery plan with, could we put in with suggestions made at this meeting? Because we do need a key to explain, because one time you're saying it's a dot where it's going to start, another time you're saying it's completed. So now it's gotten really quite messy, and I don't want to approve something that's not clear. So I would like to request with suggestions made at this meeting.
That's just being added in, if you can
Thank
give
you.
our clerks a moment. Are there? Yes,
I'm
with-
fine, that's fine.
Okay.
This to the chair. So we're asking for acceptance of the service plan, and we're looking at a draft of the business plan. So the confusing keys in the business plan, and we'll be bringing that back for approval probably in October. So for the purposes of this recommendation, we should refer to the service plan.
I'm just waiting for our clerk to put up. I understand what you were saying, Director Kingston. Just going to see. Does that still suit what staff are looking for? Yeah. Yes? Okay. And that works for our mover and our seconder? Yes? Okay. With that, I think we've had ample discussion, unless Commissioner Regier had a comment.
No, just to reiterate that Mr. Kingston's point that the business plan is really a draft at this stage. We've got good feedback from the committee today, and we'll take that into consideration, make some revisions, bring some additional detail regarding the schedule for implementation to the October meeting. So you'll see a different version of this in October. And then following out of that, we'll get into the conversation about the budget. So.
Very good. With that, I will call the vote. All those in favor? And that carries unanimously. And yeah, sorry, I do my hands in this committee. Okay. Thank you to our clerks team who's keeping up with me doing by hand voting. And now we will move along to our second report today, and I will turn it back over to Director Kingston and Manager McLaren.
Through the chair, this report is another attempt at us to clarify the bequest policy. We're also including the donations policy, revised donations policy. Often those are together for a library operation like this, but because we've had particular concerns around bequest, we've broken it out as its own policy. As you can see within there, much of it is lines up with some of the previous things that we've looked at. So for example, bequests that already exist, like the Taylor and the Puddicombe bequests, will stay within their own reserves, but we'll institute a new reserve for new bequests and or donations. There will be restrictions in terms of what those funds could be used for, so not for covering utilities, maintenance, or routine expenses. And if there are donor stipulations that are that they would need to align with the library strategic mission and goals. We're looking at establishing a process to, when those funds are received, to establish a process to plan and have them spent. And then there would be summary reports on the reserve fund usage to library committee. there's a number of details in there around, definitions around what donations are, what a bequest is, what a gift is. And again, that we're looking to use the bequests or donations to enhance library services, not to, for routine maintenance.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments or questions on this one, committee? We will go to Committee Chair Griffiths.
No, actually, I guess this is being brought back from a previous meeting, if I recall. And I had a number of comments there. I just want to take the opportunity to commend the staff for this latest version. I think it reads well and is comprehensive. And my thanks. I have no concerns personally, but wanted to pass on that comment, if I may.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Not seeing any. I did just have a question of clarification. So in reading, and I think it's because you guys referred to the Puttycombe one staying in its own account. Will that be true if somebody does a donation that they say they only want it to be at one library? I guess I'm just wondering how we'll keep track of those types of donations, if they all go into one account and then we just know how much is there for each. I'm just wondering on a logistical level there.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We'll be working with finance on whether we have kind of restricted or unrestricted funds. We determined that we would leave rather than lump everything into one fund, we would leave the existing bequests the way they are because there's some attachments and some sensitivities around those. New ones we would do from a single reserve fund, but we would keep track of whether something was an unrestricted gift or whether it had some donor stipulations that came with it.
Perfect, thank you. I'm not seeing any other. Oh, my apologies, Chair Redmond.
I was just going to move the motion if you're looking for a move.
I am, thank you. So moved by Chair Redmond, seconded by Councillor Foxton, and all those in favor. And that carries unanimously, I believe. Yes. All right. And moving along, for information, we do have the tracking list, which was provided to all committee members. Just wondering if there were any questions or items that the committee wanted to make note of on the tracking list. Okay. I'm not seeing any, so that's just for information. Is there any other business that anyone wanted to bring up? Councillor Shantz.
Thank you. At the last meeting, I had asked for some salary breakdown. I did receive that. I don't know if the rest of the committee wants any of that information. We would have to go into closed for it.
So are you requesting that we go into closed, or?
I will leave that to the others.
Okay.
I have the information. If anyone wants to discuss it, we would need to go into closed.
Councillor Foxton, is that you would like to go into closed to receive that information?
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. So are you moving that?
I will move that we go into closed to see the information.
Thank you. Is there a seconder to that? Seconded by Councillor Shantz. I'm just going to confirm with the committee clerk. I know that we can go into closed. I just want to make sure that I'm in line with them, not screwing up anything procedurally. So it's just being noted that we don't have HR here. if that was additional information that people wanted to have discussed or, I guess, talk about. So what is being potentially suggested by the clerk, and again, we can still vote and go into close now, but what's being potentially suggested is that we could have a closed at our next meeting to discuss. I'm just curious, as you're the one who knows what you want to do you need HR, I guess, present for what you were looking for?
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
I don't. I have the information that helps me understand.
Okay.
But if other people want it,
Okay.
I'm suggesting that,
Sorry, and obviously the information we would have to discuss and close, but just to clarify, Councillor, all committee members of the Library Committee did receive that document from the CFO there, the other. So they are privy to that information already. So I'm just wondering if any other additional information. I know Wayne is here today. Sorry, my apologies. But I'm just any expansion on that information. Maybe it would maybe be helpful to know exactly what more details you're looking for beyond that document.
I'm not looking for anything else.
Okay.
I've received what I need.
Okay.
Councillor Foxton?
So is it the same information that we already received from Wayne? Okay, then I don't really see a need to go into close. It can be something we can talk about in close when we look at the budget, and I think that may be appropriate, so maybe at the next meeting it would be more appropriate.
All right. Commissioner Regier said that that would be fine on the staff side, so maybe we plan to have that as part of our next
Thank you.
meeting. So you're withdrawing the motion to go and close? Okay.
I am, but with the suggestion that the closed meeting happen before we get into the open meeting and budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that is, yes, I'm getting nods that that can be arranged on our agenda for next time. So speaking of which, our next Library Committee meeting will be October 14th, 2025. And with that, I would look for a mover and a seconder to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Nowak, seconded by Councillor Foxton. All those in favor? And that carries unanimously. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time.